Imagine having a reverse Yelp, where we rate customers on their attitudes, manners, and how well they tip. What review would you leave? Her kids dropped the popcorn, so she asked me for a broom to let them clean it up themselves. I said it wasn't necessary, but she insisted that she wanted to raise them to be conscious of the fact that when they make a mess someone has to clean it up. Nice lady. 5/5. I thought the lady was going to end up going nuts for not getting the broom. But this actually turned out really wholesome. I wish the people that came to my restaurant could teach their kids like this. I work in a restaurant and this actually happened one time. Was a little awkward. Their kid dropped some stuff, or may have thrown it. I had no issue cleaning it up, but they insisted I give them the rag and make their kid clean it up. Was super nice but awkward lol. This girl was clearly having a bad day. She seemed really angry and upset. I tried my best to help, but there wasn't much I could do. I took her order, served her as usual. She got a call and walked out of the restaurant. I went to the table and found a $50 bill and a sweet little note about how her husband died, and she really appreciates my patience. 5 stars. Best customer. You sound like a nice employee. Very polite but also incredibly awkward for some reason. Apostrophe. Saying thank you 5 times when the waiter sets down their drink. Waiting 20 minutes to pay because the waiter looks busy. If that's what you meant, I'm your customer. Same. But I also worry that if I wait too long for the check I'll be depriving some hungry customer a place to sit and eat. But I really don't want to bother the waiter if they look busy. It's a vicious cycle. Very friendly. Usually gets a root beer to start and a coffee after their meal. Eats out on break from lunch daily. Usually wants quick service and minimal interruptions. Sometimes eats with a client. Usually tips well. Made many additional requests throughout the meal during peak dinner hour. Left the table disgustingly messy. Did not tip well. This guest is awesome. Likes to take suggestions. So offer a drink and make sure to have some lesser known dishes memorized. Will talk to you for as long as you let them. I would mostly try to let other waiters know what to expect from tables. Initially read that as usually rips well. The lady who yelled at me on the second day of my first job over the price of milk can have a solid 1 star. Christ, could you not? I used to work in a supermarket. Duck, the aisles are too close. Too far away from each other. I don't like your trolleys. Change them. Sometimes I can't find what I'm looking for. Are you real manager? I don't like your eggs. Any of them. Have you spoken to the farmers yet? Where is your manager? I'm the manager. No. The real manager. What's wrong with your apples? How come when I buy the same product from you only competition? It tastes better? That's flour. I know it is. But my food tasted better. Stop putting stuff on sale. My kids make me buy them stuff. I don't like the music. Change it. I can't afford Easter eggs in March. Clearly this is your fault. Take them off the shelf of all the stores in the country. I can relate. The worst was when we had a suggestion board for people to write on. We had to end it when someone decided naked staff was an appropriate suggestion for a fruit and vegetable grocer. Came on opening weekend of one of the biggest movies of the year 5 minutes before the showtime, and then was shocked they'd have to stand in line for their concessions. Then complained to management that they missed their movie. Like what did they think was going to happen? Like we'd have a reserved placed in line for them because of their obvious VIP status as King Doucher Lord of Butland? Brought infant to rated R movie, then complained that it was too scary and demanded a refund. 0 stars. Apostrophe. Wish I could give 0 stars. Brought their 11 and 13-year-old to see Step Brothers, and despite being told several times during the ticket buying process that it was a rated R movie and not appropriate for children, argued that it couldn't be that bad. Then after the scene where Will Ferrell puts his balls on the drum, said suddenly it becomes disgusting and awful movie. How could you sell us tickets to that? Real events inspired this post. Came in, ordered, ate their food in silence, left minimal mess and a reasonable tip, then buggered off. My perfect customer. 5 stars. This is my husband and I when we have a night out. Lol. We are usually too tired from the week and all our other obligations to be very exciting dinners. So we sit there quietly and send memes to each other. Then get dessert to go. Edit 2 to 2. True love. You were the most unreasonable person I have ever met. Every single person. From the ushers, who are volunteers, to the other patron who offered their seat to you wanted to help. I wanted to help you. I know when you are unable to transfer out of your wheelchair. It is a frustrating situation. It must be absolutely maddening when the house manager cannot remove the seat in the center of the theater, which was bolted to not only the cement floor, but to the rest of the seats in the row, so you can put that wheelchair there. I'm sorry that our other seating were at the front and rear of the theater, and not where you purchased your ticket. I'm sorry that when you called our box office, you did not mention your inability to transfer out of your wheelchair, but you did not need to yell and curse in front of everyone waiting to watch Miss Sagan. You did not have to hit me. You are the first and last person I ever issued a refund to, just to get you to stop screaming when you needed to get back to the lobby and were unable to push your wheelchair back up the ramp. I again tried to help you. First, I offered to push you up myself, but you insisted I should not touch the wheelchair. Please note, no one had ever called me a F-word/C word before. Kudos to your creativity. I then offered to find your now absent husband/boyfriend. It wouldn't have been hard to find him, for he was at the bar ordering his third whiskey. Lobby had only been open for 20 minutes at that point. But again, you vehemently declined Batistance. But I must say, it was rather astounding when you stood up and proceeded to walk the wheelchair back to the box office of your own volition. I say astounding, because when your husband/boyfriend asked why you were leaving, and you said, because you didn't want to sit in our ducked up seats, I then assumed you had a condition whereupon sitting for long periods of time caused great discomfort. I then asked if there was a way to further accommodate you so that you may see the show. Then your husband called you an old bat who was just trying to get free tickets. She's not disabled. It's all an act. I bid you both a good night. 1 star. I would have given you 0 stars. But I reserve that for the person who tried to kill me because a queue line wasn't moving fast enough for their liking. TL. Doctor. Woman tried to fake needing a wheelchair to get free tickets, which she almost got until her significant other ratted her out. Not the worst experience I've had in nearly 15 years of customer service gigs, but it was close. Someone tried to kill you? Drunken fool tried to return half bottle of booze because it tastes off. Watch him get in his car and promptly called police to report drunken driver. I love it. Perfect. The drunk duck. Becky and Judy. 5 stars. After 2 gulbits of Temperanillo, Judy is going to order a half gulbit. Ask if she went to physical therapy today for her shoulder. If she did, give her the full gulbit. Becky will wink at you. This is wholesome and I love it. A customer walked in the front door of my very closed, curbside only pub today and asked if we had any steak. He had to ignore a giant sign saying, please stay outside, we will bring your phone/online order out to you. 0 out of 5 stars. I almost had a rage stroke. Edited to at, this is the second time has done it. One of the regulars at the DQ did this too. The doors were locked but I try every day. Found out he had dementia. If it's an older man, he may have an excuse. Even if he doesn't know/can't remember. This guy's in his late 30s. Nice. Pleasant man. Always orders the same sandwich every time. Making preparing for him simple despite the complicated sandwich. Tips well. Never talks longer it takes to complete his order. Also, the only male regular over 50 that doesn't leer at my underage coworker. 5 stars. Love this. On the other hand, came to dinner with his 14-year-old niece and their family. Was leery and flirtatious the whole meal. When I brought their check he asked, in front of their mixed age party of 7, can you do 3 ways? But I'm sure you get that all the time. 2/5. Because someone else at the table called him a pig and tipped me 25%. Edit. I don't know if it makes it better or worse, but I work in casual fine dining. The bills are between $100 to $300. Tipping 25% is not normal. That's why I was grateful. Lots of people tip more generously as steps of service and formality increase. 1. Ike. That sucks that you deal with that. 2. Do you actually get asked that a lot? That's really ducked up. She lied about her hair history. Wanted white blonde in one session on her virgin dark hair. That the strand test determined was a lie. Said she could do it herself at home. Turned hair orange instead. Came back to get a color correction. And after explaining why she couldn't have blonde, she said she'd settle for anything but orange and lighter than the dark. Gets a beautiful chocolate/caramel color and cries because it's not blonde and too expensive. And also leaves no tip. -5 stars. Not worth my time. You must have met my mom. She was going through a rough time post-divorce. Had done a home bleaching, alternating sometimes with the cheapest hair bleacher, the cheapest stylist she could get to cover her grays for several months. Decided she wanted to go brunette once. My sister, in cosmetology school, said don't use the natural hair color you bought. It will turn your hair orange. Guess what? Emergency trip to the stylist after that for mom old McDonald. I'm sure it wasn't cheap that time. A guy, had this happen to me when I was about 16 and a goth. I'd grown my hair out and cut it into a sort of floppy mohawk. Dyed it blue-black and then for some reason decided I wanted it lighter. Turned out bright orange. And not in a good way. Orange is not the color of the goth. Eventually, after rushing downtown really early and desperately hoping not to be seen by anyone I knew, another couple of experiments left it a mixture of colors from black through to white. Then it turned into dreads. I thought I looked cool as duck, but I probably looked a right knob. Ho hum. Guy comes in the middle of the festival. No reservation. By car. And blames me because it took him 2 hours to go the entrance of the city to my hotel because there are 200,000 people walking around the streets and police barrages to help the flow of pedestrians. Then he blames me again because he did all of this for nothing because we are full. What did he think would happen? Walking in with no reservation during the city's largest festival? 1 star. Would not recommend. Chap comes into the packed restaurant on Mother's Day. Has mad as hell because various local roads are shut and it took him an hour to get here instead of 10 minutes. Does not have a reservation. Has his whole family with him. His wife breaks down in tears while Hez yelling at me for not posting on Facebook that we are full for lunch. I get the wife and his mother a gin while he rings restaurants to get a table. They finally leave and the wife hands me a tip. I believe they ended up waiting for a table in Mandus. 0 stars for him, 3 stars for the wife. Something says me that it's not the first time she has to run through such disappointment. Apparently the basic front desk bell is too complicated of a mechanism to operate for this person. Also demanded that I reduce her rate because we ran out of complimentary coffee and she couldn't wait the 2 minutes it would take me to make a new pot. Insulted the housekeepers. 2. 0 stars at it. Wow. My first silver. Thank you, kind stranger. This is the exact type of person who will also leave a ranting Yelp review on the lack of coffee and poor housekeeping. I saw a review for a hotel once where the general manager responded to a complaint of the pool being closed with "As we told you upon check-in, the pool is closed because it's an outdoor pool in Cape Cod in February." She walked into the store and complained that outside smelled of gasoline. I told her we would address that issue as soon as an employee became available to do so. Customer is apparently unaware they are pumping gas at a gas station when complaining about the scent of gas. Perhaps she could consider not huffing it while filling her tank. Edit. Holy shnikes, my most upvoted comment ever is about someone sniffing gasoline. I worked at a gas station for like 7 years through high school and college, and oh my god, why are people like this unfair? Then on the flip side you have people out there huffing it like there's no tomorrow and come in and say I love the smell of gasoline. As someone who legitimately does love the smell, I wish I could tell you why I do, lol. This man can't seem to grasp the basic concept of why films have age ratings and why his 9-year-old was not allowed to watch Sausage Party. That's a strange thing, isn't it? Ratings were made so you can know if you can take your kid to it. But parents don't seem to understand. Likewise, they think animated movie means for kids. Literally hunkered down in the basement with the gunman upstairs. Detectives on the phone. Another pregnant, crying customer and all the staff. And this jackbird still had the nerve to ask if his watch was done being repaired before the first shot rang out. Then proceeded to scream at the detectives that this was a huge inconvenience. He had clients waiting at court and needed this to be over with. Sorry sir, it'll go upstairs and nicely tell the gunman to please stop because you have somewhere to be. It'll gladly risk my life for you. A giant douche. On a different note, I'm sorry that happened. Lol. And thanks. It was scary in the moment after hearing the shots, but once the robber was caught it just became an interesting story. I was the first person at my school internship program to ever get shot at their internship. That lawyer guy had no regard for anyone else, lol. Makes me think of the Black Mirror episode where everyone has a social score and others can see it. Yeah, that was a nice episode. By nice I mean no pig 6 or murderers caught in a torture loop. I ended up not watching all of them. It got to be too much. Pig 6 episode was my favorite part of watching that show. It sucks because it's nearly what I want. Horror with social commentary through psychological rather than gore. It sucks because that show is generally as subtle as a sledgehammer to the balls. So the thinking is removed and makes it not so good, in my opinion. The curly-haired young guy with gilberts and a baggy skater vibe dress sense. Clearly smokes hella weed. Comes in high and orders food and is always just so polite. Like as polite as a customer can get. Sits on a chair and waits for his order and has this stupid smile on his face staring at nothing like 3 times a week. I don't know you, but I love you bro. Edit. I should mention. I'm a stoner myself, so I love the guy extra. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you want more videos don't forget to like and subscribe. You are helping me a lot. Thanks again.